Welcome to day 5 of the 9 candles and on our journey to celebration. And today, my guest to help us through this is Dr. Gail. Yay, from Sky Walking with Moon. And we'll come back to Dr. Gail. You want to say hi, Dr. Gail? So you're just not.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Nancy Jean. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here. And what we're going to look at today is the number 5, the 5th day of the candles, and I'm going to go to the food. And as for those of you who, I don't know how you got here if you're showing up today, but I always light 9 candles, and I had to find this is the first time I was told to make it things that would delight us, because we're supposed to be looking for things that lighten our spirit. And I got up in the morning and said, okay, I'm going to find things that delight us. And then
Food.
I got in here and I got on the computer and it was all food. And then I realized, don't ever order things that delight you before you have breakfast.
It all looks good.
Yes. So what we're going to do is, as we light this candle, this is candle 5 in particular, we invite the spirit of joy to rise within us, a flame is a whisper of freedom, a reminder that the light lives in even the smallest of our moments. With each wick we awaken, we honor our journey one step, one spark at a time. We bring to the flame that makes our hearts smile and that gives our spirits wings. Let this be our offering, a glimmer of gratitude, a breath of hope, and the radiant joy we all deserve. So may it be, with light, love, and intention. And today's special reading, we've lit one, which is a blueberry pie.
Oh, boy.
2, which is bananas waffles.
Here's my candle. Lighting.
3, okay, very good. 3 is the watermelon, and 4 is the trip to the dentist after we eat all this stuff. There he goes. And the 5th candle, 5 flames burn bright. Burn bright, Dr. Gill. Burn bright. Burn bright, the midway point of our sacred walk. We feel the glowing warmth and the building of brilliance within. Let this life call forth your laughter, love, and liberation that lives inside each of us. So now we got 5 candles. So,
and I got the cheese.
And she got the cheese. You did.
All right, you ready for me?
Yeah, I'm ready. Dr. Gail wrote her. She knew what 5 candles. She's been through this routine, so she knew. So this is her message for the 5 candles.
Okay, now I've written it down, so I'm going to be looking down at it. Joy is being your authentic self. Whether you are a medium, a psychic, a card reader, or work with others like aliens, as I do, a lot of people have hidden from their family and friends what they do because it makes their family feel uncomfortable. Now is the time to change and do those things that bring you joy. If you talk to the dead, if you see the future, if you talk to the angels, aliens, elementals, we are developing a community to support you. It's time for your family and friends to get on board. They might still be uncomfortable, but it's time for you to be comfortable. So times are changing. Time to fly your freak flag and join our community. Thanks.
Very good. And the aliens Dr. Gail talks to, in case you don't watch her channel, are not the people that certain political people vilify. She talks to the aliens that come from spaceships.
Right.
Right. Just
yes, and from everywhere. They come from planets, stars, star systems.
Yeah, they transport themselves all sorts of ways.
Right.
Lots of good energy. So
they're just in a different dimension.
And it really is true. People ask me, well, what did you do? Well, in my case, I started reading cards, but really when you work in the realms we work in, you kind of work in a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, some of us prefer not to get in spacesuits because we have chubby little bodies, but And some of us are closer to the ground and work with the elementals, but it's all the same thing. It's all beyond the consciousness we were locked into when we were the typical person walking around our planet thinks of.
Well, you've always been good about who you are and put it out there about reading cards and things, and have let your family go because they're uncomfortable around you.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the opposite. I have been the one trying to conform to the family, conform to everything, be right, do good, that kind of thing. Whereas now I'm coming out a lot more, which makes
Mm-hmm.
them comfortable, but it makes me a lot more comfortable, makes me feel better. I'm coming out. And it brings me joy to do what I do and
Mm-hmm.
to share it. And before, it was always hidden, and putting myself in the uncomfortable spot now is reversing. Now everybody's going to be uncomfortable knowing what I do,
Oh
which I'm.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, even though I read in public and I read out at tables and stuff, and I don't have any family that lives near me. And I really only have three siblings left, and they were distant. I live out a generational pattern that's just incredible. My parents were Canadians. As soon as the war was over in World War II, they jumped the border and came and became Americans. And we were irreparably separated from that whole side of my family because they, well, for the first 7 years, my parents were getting their citizenship. And I know all about people and what it takes to get citizenship, and it's hard. And but their family were on the other side of the border, and we just had very few relatives that had the means to come across. And there's all sorts of stuff. In the last year, I found out that my grandfather, who started his farm in 1920 near London, Ontario, he never had mechanized farm tools. Everything he did with animals.
Oh,
He,
wow.
yeah, I know. I mean, my mother never talked about that. She would talk about how she didn't like being on a farm. And she left the farm at 14 and went to live with an uncle of hers, with her aunt, but with her great uncle. And I knew Unc because Aunt had died. Aunt had died before I was born. And Unc took her in, and he was chaplain at a university. So she stayed there. And she was the youngest degreed nurse I ever graduated. She graduated with her full 4 years nursing degree at 19.
Wow.
She's a smart person, and you could see like somebody who has ambitions like that, but she never talked about the farm. We visited the farm, but I don't think anyone pointed out to me the rather unique fact that that whole generation survived on what people were doing in the 1800s. So there's just incredible disjointedness. And my father's family was even worse about being together. He only had contact with the sister. His father was a World War I veteran, blah blah blah. And he we never had any real contact with them. And I was talking with my oldest son, and I have two grandchildren, and I'm the only grandmother they really have. And I've taught them things and been around them a little bit. But this whole image of you guys who live next door to your grandparents or live within walking distance of your grandparents, I can't even relate to that experience. So separating from family for me, I always had to find family on the streets. You know,
Mm.
I never, and it doesn't make you stronger and doesn't make you better and doesn't mean you do it any better, but it just means all have different paths. And I understand people that are really, really closely tied to their families because I'm not. I can't personally, I can see it and watch it with other people. But then again, for a person whose families have always lived in diverse things, apparently I've broken the family pattern because I live with two of my grandchildren, and the
Right.
third one is constantly in touch with me. So we've had a break from when they talk about generational paths you've carried, we've had a break from mine
Right. Right.
in me.
Yeah. Well, you didn't really have to face the being accepted then as much by your family, by what you're doing, being in the metaphysical world.
Oh, you ought to see the way my kids' eyes roll. No, no, no.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have seen how your kids' eyes roll.
Yeah, Dr. Gale's actually spoken with them and communed with them. But they think it's kind of cool. My grandson, he tells all his friends that his grandmother has a YouTube channel, you
Yeah.
know, and his dad has a YouTube. His dad's channel is not our world. His dad's world is not my world anymore. It's politics. But Ian was saying it was telling his dad they were together last Sunday at a swimming party, and he said, all my friends think it's so cool, and a bunch of them watch your channel. And Sean's like, you're 12. Your friends can't watch my channel, and apparently they all lie like little rugs to get on YouTube. But and the only troll I've ever had legitimately in my chat was my grandson, and was years ago. And I actually have photographs of the messages he left me. And he told his dad, this was during COVID lockdown, and his dad said, your grandma's going to be on doing her show. And he said, well, does she have trolls? Because he already knew everybody on YouTube has to have trolls. And his dad said no. So he nicknamed himself his sister's name, Bro, as what word he was using to describe who he was. And it was so funny. He said, I'm your troll. And it was Turll, because he was young enough. And he was, and he said, everybody on YouTube needs a troll. So the only troll I had, I know, he's in my family.
That's funny.
So families, I can see where families could really be a great thing to have. But the family I have that I'm not tied to by blood is very much more important to me in a lot of
Right.
ways.
Right.
And that's this whole audience out here. And that's why everything Dr. Gail said, I really want you to take notes. Be who you are. Show people who you are, so that
It brings
because
out the joy in you, because if you're hiding who you are, it affects your whole life.
yeah, well, you'll never have been here. And think about this. You picked the astrologic chart that you came in with, and you picked the karma, and you sat and had this whole long talk about it. And if you come in here and then you're not authentically trying to live up to what your goals in your life is, then think about it. You're going to have to come back and do it again.
Yeah.
In theory, although people say the new age we're springing to, there'll be no more karma. I've been through so many generations and so many past lives. I kind of roll my eyes at a lot of the predictions people make.
Yeah.
What I do is, and I'll tell you the truth, I think about past lives. I think past lives are great if they help you. If they help you understand why you respond to something a certain way, they can help you. I died in World War II in a bombing, and I could hear the air raid sirens over my head as the building crushed in on me. I've been through that whole experience. And as a child, we had they said they were tornado warning sirens. They were not. They were in case the Russians really got testy that day. And we all knew it because they were trying to make us do bomb drills at school. But anytime I would hear a siren like that, I would just freeze. And I can remember being in college, and did do tornado warning tests near my campus. And I can remember being in the bathroom and just barely able to breathe. And I could never figure out why. I mean, I know it's a warning, but why can't I get past that? It wasn't until I did a past life and found out about that particular thing. Since then, man, you can blow one right next to my head. I'm going, you're here.
Okay, well, thank you, Nancy Jean, for having me on these 9 candles.
Well, thank you. We got to go blow them out. We got to remind people to blow them out.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go. My poor asthma breath. Doesn't want to blow anything out. Come on, Jeffrey's candle, go. Jeffrey's has a hell of a wick. Candle 4, candle 5. And I got candle 1 while I was trying to blow out the other one. So, and I want to thank everyone for being here. I hope this finds you on a good day, and I hope if you haven't seen the earlier ones, you'll see them and look at the what it's talking about, because what we're building is with the flames, we're building a sense of warmth and community and a way to light ourselves. And remember, like Dr. Gail said, joy is your birthright. So you need to speak up for who you were born to be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.